If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports needs. Whether you're a football fan, basketball fan, or baseball fan, this app is the perfect way to get news for your team and is an app I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to check out my pregame, halftime, or postgame streams. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, my series of the winners and losers is back yet again. This time for the Patriots beating, just barely, the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo to continue their undefeated season. This was definitely a pretty frustrating game. Hands down the worst game that the Patriots have had this season. Now, it's only week 4, so obviously that's not saying too much, but it is week 4. There has been some weeks in the past, so it does entail a little bit. Now, my first winner here is probably the biggest winner here of the entire game, and that's going to be cornerback J.C. Jackson. Now, J.C. Jackson was balling out today. He had 2 interceptions off of Bills starting quarterback Josh Allen, of course, before Josh Allen went to the locker room after that pretty brutal hit by Patriots cornerback Jonathan Jones. But J.C. Jackson's interceptions were not just gimme interceptions that were just thrown up in the air randomly, and he was lucky enough to come down with them. The one interception he had was easily one of the best interceptions I've ever seen because he made sure that he got his feet down for a second-year undrafted cornerback like J.C. Jackson to come down with an interception like that, being able to go through the wide receiver and have your teammates around, being able to go up, grab the ball, secure the ball, and tap your feet in was really just an amazing play here by J.C. Jackson. Now, on top of his 2 interceptions, he also had a blocked punt, which was then returned by the Patriots special teams for a touchdown. Of course, that player being Patriots special teams ace Matthew Slater for his first touchdown of his career. All in all, without a doubt, J.C. Jackson's best game of his career. J.C. Jackson this season has been a little bit so I'm really happy that he was able to go out there and perform and make plays like he did today, really showing that he is going to be a big part of the future if he's able to stay at such a consistent level. Now, my first loser here is going to be quarterback Tom Brady. This was a very, very rough game for him, and if anybody saw the post-game press conference, you could tell that Tom Brady was not happy. Tom Brady's face, his expressions, the way he was talking, that looked like a guy who just lost a game, not a guy who just won one. It was without a doubt his worst game that he has played for this season so far, and it was actually one of the worst games he's played, period. He has really never had, I believe there was only one other time, if that, they said that Tom Brady had such a bad passer rating in a game that he actually won. Brady finished this game completing just 18 passes out of the 39 attempts he had. He had just a very mediocre 150 yards, along with his first interception of the season, which was a very, very stupid throw here by Tom Brady, which he admitted, but I'll get to that in a second, in which he also had just 3.8 yards per attempt. As for the interception Tom Brady threw, there was really no need for it. I heard a lot of people saying, why didn't he throw to Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon was open. Brady said that he didn't see Edelman, which I'm not exactly sure how true that is, whether he didn't see Edelman or not, because Edelman just did not look like himself, and Brady was just not going his way at all. And then you also heard him saying, basically how Jacoby Myers had jumped the route. He didn't see the defender there, and that's how the interception came along. But either way, the interception was just not a good throw here, and a smart move by TB12. To go along with that, the Patriots tied for a Bill Belichick-era worst record for having 7 3-and-outs in one day. Now, moving on, my next loser is going to be the Patriots offensive line, and that was part of why the Patriots offense was having issues, and that was because Brady was constantly getting rushed, okay? The Patriots had an okay-ish run game. Sonny Michel had a couple of nice runs, but other than that, they were just getting stopped. And you constantly saw Brady under pressure. You saw that Brady was not comfortable, and because of that, Brady was constantly just throwing the ball away in order to not get hit and trying to just get himself in the mindset of there's always a next down, because that's something Tom Brady does. He's smart with the ball. He will throw the ball away and not risk it. But due to so many defenders constantly being up in his face, he was always throwing the ball away or just making bad throws. This offensive line definitely has not performed up to expectations very well, especially compared to last season. And of course, a big part of that is considering you don't have your starting center, you do not have your starting left tackle. So that in itself is obviously enough to make our offensive line go down. But the Patriots really need to get this worked out. Again, this offensive line has just not performed up to par, and it is really hurting them in a multitude of different ways, both in the run game. It's now hurting them here in the pass game. And if it continues, then I'm really going to start to get worried on a very consistent basis here about the New England Patriots offense. My next winner here is going to be safety Devin McCourty. And holy frick, has Devin McCourty had one hell of a season so far. I mean, this is his fourth interception in a row, fourth consecutive interception. He has definitely had one of his best seasons as a Patriot, and personally to me has so far had one of the best seasons that I've actually seen Devin McCourty play. Now, of course, it is only week 4. There's a lot more football to be played, but if we're talking from what we've seen right now, hands down the best I've seen McCourty. McCourty has really been focused this season. He's really been a leader. Of course, he is always been a leader, but this season you can tell that there is something different here about Devin McCourty. He is truly playing as if he is fighting for something. He's really being able to make more or better reads, I should say, than I've again personally ever seen him make. And all in all, he's just out here consistently making plays. He isn't just a guy that goes out there, is able to make a play now and then and just does his job. He's legit going out there and making plays in each game. If McCourty is able to keep this up, then he is on pace for his best season ever. My next loser here is going to be wide receiver Philip Dorsett. Now, in general, the Patriots wide receivers were just not good. No one could get separation. Nobody was on the same page as Tom Brady. Josh Gordon made some nice plays, but there were also plays that Josh Gordon should have made but didn't. So when you're talking about Philip Dorsett, kind of take that with a grain of salt because all of the receivers were not doing well. Of course, Julian Edelman still coming back from that injury. He was really not involved at all. I believe he just had 3 catches. But the big reason that I'm mentioning Philip Dorsett as the big guy as a loser here is because he was targeted 9 times this entire game. And in those 9 targets, he was only able to haul in 2 receptions for just 10 yards. Now, of course, this is not all on Philip Dorsett. Brady threw some pretty bad balls his way, but nonetheless, there were some that Philip Dorsett probably should have made. My next winner here is going to be New England's linebackers. Now, more specifically, I'm going to be talking about Jamie Collins and then Kyle Van Noy, but you also saw Juwan Bentley in there making a couple of pretty nice plays. So in general, the linebackers just had a pretty nice game. Especially for not having your star linebacker, your leader linebacker, and Dante Hightower out. It was a very good showing here for the linebackers. Something to watch is that Landon Roberts did go into the medical tent at one point. Not really sure what his status is at this point, but of course, something to just remember. And at this point, you're not even surprised that Jamie Collins is on this list as a winner. He's just balling out. And I get that it's still early in the season, but we've seen this on a very consistent basis since Jamie Collins has come back, and I truly 150% hope that New England is going to be able to get Jamie Collins signed longer than just the 1-year deal that he currently is signed to, because he is on pace for being a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. And let me tell you, the dynamic duo of Jamie Collins and Kyle Van Noy is part of what makes this defense so scary, so dominant, and so unstoppable. When you look at them as a team, they both combined for a total of 3 sacks, an interception, and also combined for 9 tackles. Then you look a little bit more individually, and you have Kyle Van Noy, who finished with a team high in tackles for this week with 6 of them, while also having those 2 sacks. And then you had Jamie Collins, who had those other 3 tackles, and then recording that game-ending interception in which the Buffalo Bills were starting to charge downfield. If they got that touchdown, they would have tied it up. Extra point would have meant that they were in the lead. It was tipped up in the air. Jamie Collins located the ball, intercepted it, and ultimately made the Patriots win. I've been saying for years, especially since they let Jamie Collins go, that the big issues that the Patriots are having on defense really is because of these linebackers. The Patriots, ever since Jamie Collins left, had not been having a good time at the linebacker position. 2 years ago, they lost Hightower, and at that point, Kyle Van Noy was really your best linebacker, and you didn't have anyone else after that. Then last season, you ended up losing rookie linebacker Juwan Bentley, who was on a great pace, and now you have all these linebackers back, plus the addition of Jamie Collins, and you can just visually see how much more dominant this Patriots defense is because of the very versatile group of linebackers New England has. And my next loser here is one you had to have seen coming at this point. That's going to be kicker Stephen Gostkowski. And at this point, I don't have too much to say about him, strictly for the reason that I'm talking about him on a super consistent basis. Really, ever since I started this series back up, I think that he's been a loser. And when we're looking at this week specifically, even before the game started, reports were coming out that he was really donking these kicks off of the goalposts. And then the first thing that happens when the Patriots score their first touchdown is that he misses the very first extra point. And earlier on, you heard me reference the fact that the Patriots were down by 6 points. If the Buffalo Bills had gotten that touchdown, they would have been tied, an extra point, and they win the game. And that is because Gostkowski missed that extra point. So if they would have gotten that touchdown and made the extra point, this loss partially would have been on Gostkowski because it would have been tied if he would have made the field goal. And my last winner of this week is going to be punter Jake Bailey. Jake Bailey's just proving that he was such a good addition, and a lot of people were super scared when they let go of Ryan Allen. And, is Jake Bailey really going to be the guy that takes over? Is he really going to be able to do a good job? And the answer to that is yeah. He has. Last week, he was named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week in just 3 weeks of the NFL actually starting back up, and of course, him being a rookie. This week, he had a very big job as, again, the Patriots offense was not doing well at all. He ended up punting the ball 9 times and had an average of 48.1 yards per punt. Just had some very sensational punts. And because of where he was punting, he actually put the Bills at bad field position on multiple occasions. A big thing about Jake Bailey was his leg, that he is really good at having a sensational amount of hang time. And he has proved exactly that. Now that's going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on my winners and losers for this week? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you guys are not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And also, make sure you guys hit the like button. When you do subscribe, if you have not already, make sure you guys turn on those post notifications. It's the little bell after you subscribe because you will want to get notified for all my videos. Please make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows so we can go to the Patriots Global Family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.
In Astro World.